Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Samantha Anderson. I am a freelance artist and teacher hoping to inspire creativity. If you would like more videos like these, please take a second to like and subscribe down below. It really helps in the algorithm of YouTube to help get my videos seen to more people. If you want to receive notifications of when I go live, please make sure to hit the bell and choose all notifications. If you have any questions during or after the class, make sure to pop a comment down below and I will answer it as soon as I can. If interested in learning more about my classes, please follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And feel free to check me out on Patreon, where I teach exclusive classes to those who support me. In Patreon, I also give traceables for all of my live classes, including this one. Lastly, if you would like to share your work after class with me and others who painted along with us, please head over to Facebook, as I have an artist community where you can share your finished painting with us. I'll leave links for all of that in the description box below. Thanks for joining me, and let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another YouTube tutorial. My name is Samantha Anderson. Thank you so much for joining me this class. I am excited to get started. I love doing water and sunsets and all things like it. So I'm so glad that you're here and that you're going to be painting with me. So go ahead and get out your supplies and we will get straight to painting. As usual for all my classes, I do have a traceable for this class and for all of my YouTube tutorials in my Patreon. Now, by all means, you do not need a traceable. I'm not going to be using a traceable today, but if you want to put something on your canvas before you start painting, sometimes it's very helpful to have a traceable, so I do provide it for all of my patrons. And this week only, if you do sign up for my Patreon, you will automatically get entered into a giveaway, because next week on October 1st is our 4th annual Patreon anniversary, and I am doing a giveaway of some brushes. So if you would like a chance to win a set of brushes, feel free to go over to my Patreon. Not only will you get access to this traceable, as long as you sign up for the $5 tier and above, you'll get access to the traceable, a ton of other traceables, quick tip videos, all things like that, and you'll automatically get entered into that giveaway. So that's just something I like to give back to the community as a thank you for supporting me, as well as we get to have fun doing some artwork, and I love getting to share that with you guys. Okay, so just to recap, all of my traceables are in my Patreon, and then this week only you'll get entered into that giveaway automatically. When you sign up, make sure to provide your address, because if you don't provide your address, I can't send it to you, and therefore I have to pick somebody else. So make sure that you add your address when you sign up. Otherwise, you'll opt out of those perks. Okay, so that is in my Patreon. You'll not only get access to that traceable, but everything else in that tier. And now my Patreon has changed to you won't get charged again at the first of the month. You'll get charged on the same day that you sign up. So it's just like any other subscription now. So hopefully that helps with the double signups that had been happening before. I also have an 11 by 14 stretched canvas that we will be painting on. You can use any size you would like. I also have a 9 by 14 traceable in that post as well, if you want that. Otherwise, if you have a larger size canvas and you want a different size traceable, it's very easy for me to resize it. You can just comment on that post and say, hey, can I have a different size? And I'll upload it to that post. It's pretty easy. But yeah. So traceable 11 by 14 stretched canvas, and then I have 2 waters, some paper towel. I have a flat canvas as well as a small palette knife for mixing, and then I have an array of brushes. I'm gonna go over just like my general brushes that I typically use in my classes, which include a large filbert, a medium size filbert, medium to small, And then I have a few different round brushes. So I have a medium sized brush that is a little bit more frayed. It's my cloud brush, my texture brush. I use it for dry brushing. And then I have a couple other round brushes that I use, which include one's a little bit more pointed, another one's a little bit more rounded, and then I have a liner brush. My brushes are getting a little bit old, so I'm actually working, this is like a sneak peek. I've not even told my Facebook this, but I'm actually working with Famui on a new kit specifically designed for my classes, which include all of the things that I normally use. It's also going to include some hog bristle brushes for your fan brushes instead of the soft bristles, and then it's going to include two different sizes of palette knife that we use. And I haven't really been able to find a kit that has everything that I use specifically, and so I'm really excited to bring you guys a new specific kit for my classes and everything that I use. So I'm really excited for that. That is a sneak peek. I've been talking, going back and forth for the past couple months, getting all that nailed down, and I'm really excited to kind of announce that. It's not, I don't know when that'll come up because they're talking to the factory, seeing when they can get some samples out, but I'll keep you guys in the loop. I'm really excited for that. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, so these are the brushes that I'm going to be using. I don't know if I'll use all of them, but I typically have those on hand just in case. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of a looser take on this. I'm not going to do a super realistic version of this. I kind of want to keep it loose and quick, and so we're just going to have fun with colors. And speaking of colors, let's go over the colors real quick. We're going to be needing our black and white, which I have off to the side. So you're going to need black, white, and then I have a raw umber. And those three classes I have like in all of my classes. I keep those on hand. Other ones I kind of bring out and put back. But I'm going to have my yellow, orange, and red. There's a little bit of pink in here, so I'm going to use that red for that. And then you're going to have a phthalo blue, and you might need a little bit of green to really tint that turquoise. But we'll see. So those are the colors. I'll leave this up for a couple seconds. Those are the colors that we're going to be using. So we have yellow, red, orange, phthalo blue, and green. And then off to the side, I have my white, black, and raw umber. Raw umber is just a really dark brown, in case you were wondering. And don't be mistaken, these bottles are from Hippie Crafter. They are not the craft acrylics that you usually get in the craft stores. They are full body acrylics, and they are professional, and they are great. They've been a really great company to work with as well. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to need to do is kind of figure out where everything is. Now, if you've done the traceable, you've already done this process, and you can kind of just sit tight. But if you have not done this process, we're going to go ahead and take a small brush. You can take one of your smaller to medium brushes. I'm going to take the smaller one. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab some yellow. I'm going to go ahead and put out my white and yellow on my palette. Ooh, timber. So I'm gonna grab some white and yellow. Okay, and there's a lot of white and yellow in this painting. Believe it or not, there's a lot of white. But we're going to go ahead and just figure out where we want everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some yellow, mix it with a little bit of white, and mix it with my water. And the white is just to kind of not make it so bright, but you want it pretty liquid, which also kind of makes it translucent, and this makes it really easy to transfer onto your canvas. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where my horizon line is. And I'm not talking about where the trees are, I'm talking about where the water is. So that line is just above half. So if you're good with straight lines, you can kind of just eyeball it and go all the way across. If you're not good with straight lines, good luck. No, I'm just kidding. You can go ahead and get a ruler, or you can get some tape. Just like a traceable, these are all tools that we use. It's not cheating. You can feel free to use whatever you need to in order to achieve the artwork that you're trying to paint. And enjoy the process. If you're trying to get a straight line and you're not enjoying the process, then figure out a way that you can enjoy the process, because that is what we are doing this for. We are enjoying the process, we're having fun, and if you're not having fun, then figure out a different way to do it. Alright, so now I'm going to just roughly put in where these, like, the tops of the trees are. I'm just kind of wiggling my brush, and about a little more than halfway kind of jets up a bit, and just kind of comes back down and then goes back up. It doesn't have to look exactly the same, I'm just kind of getting the area. And then right about here is going to be where my sun is, and I'm just going to gently put that in. It's not going to be this color, but this will help kind of guide us when we are figuring out that all in a bit. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The rest of this, like, there's a couple other lines in here for the waves, but you don't necessarily need to put that in. It's kind of up to you. If you just want to get a feel for the painting, that's totally fine. Don't put in anything else. You really don't need to. If you did put in the full traceable, I would recommend maybe going over the lines with a maybe like a black marker, like a acrylic marker, or if you really want it to be exactly like the picture. But even when I was doing the traceable, because I knew that I wasn't going to be doing all of the exact, things, it doesn't have to be exactly like the traceable. So that's why I'm not putting in that. Because we're just going to add those afterwards. If you did, you can just paint right over that, and if you see it, you can use it. If you don't see it, then that's fine too. But it's totally up to you how much of that traceable that you use. You can put on only what you need to in order to feel comfortable enough to paint it, but that, again, that's totally up to you if you want to put those in. Okay, so that is pretty much it. We're going to go ahead and mix together some colors. And the first thing we're going to start with is we are going to do this yellows and oranges. So I have my yellow out already. I'm going to get my some orange out. I'm going to get out just the tiniest bit of red. And then I'm also going to get out my raw umber, because you'll see at the very edges it kind of gets to like a little bit of a browny texture. Not really texture, but like the color. I mean, there's kind of a little bit of texture on it, but there's that color on there, that darker color. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead. I kind of actually already have this light yellow color. And that's actually the color of the cloud. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a little bit more of that color and just make it thicker, because right now it's really watered down. So I'm just going to add more paint to it, make it thicker, and add a little bit more weight to it. All right, so that's the yellow. That is the bright clouds that we're going to use there. Right here you have pretty much the main yellow color, and then as we go out, we're going to have a little bit of that orange, And I'm actually going to make this color down here because it's got a little bit more of that pinkish color, because I added white. I don't know why I added white to this orange color. But the orange color here, you're not going to add any white because that's going to soften that color, and we don't really want to soften that color. So I'm going to add red and make kind of this pinky color down here. Okay. That is a pretty color. And what's nice about the process that we're about to do is that you can create these colors, put them on the canvas, and then if they're not correct, you can just adjust them and then go from there. You don't have to put them on and then be like, oh no, it's wrong, and then try to, you know, mix them again and then, you know, put it on while it's still wet or whatever. You don't have to do anything like that. All right, I'm gonna take some yellow and orange, just plain yellow and orange. So it's going to be bright. I'm going to take all of this yellow. And I'm actually going to take just a little bit of brown. I'm going to take some yellow and just barely mix whatever is on my palette knife. I'm going to mix that in there, and we're going to get this kind of warm yellow color. That's kind of going to be the in-between color between the yellow and the orange. A lot of the time it's really important to have those in-between colors so that it makes transitioning a lot easier. I'm going to take some of this orange here and add a little bit more brown to it. It's a little bit more of an earthy tone. We'll do a little bit more. Kind of looks like a pumpkin orange. Now it's a little bit more brown, but okay, so that's good to come by. And then I'm gonna mix a little bit of this reddish orange with some of that brown that we created to create kind of like a darker color. And I'm also gonna mix some of this red back into it, make a little bit darker, a little bit richer in color. And if you ever need to pause the video, even though it's premiering live, you can always stop the video and you can either catch up later, or you can speed ahead, or you can paint it later. It's totally up to you. I know that some people have a hard time keeping up with mixing. If you're not very good at mixing, or if you're unfamiliar with mixing, it can be tough. But yeah, it's just play with the colors and have fun. While everybody's still mixing colors, I'm gonna go ahead and go over and do a first coat. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So I'm gonna wipe off my palette knife. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my large filbert. If you have another brush that you like doing for your backgrounds, you can go ahead and do that. That's totally fine. We're gonna go ahead and do our full background. So I'm gonna start off with this kind of whitish yellow color. And then, let's see, I'm just gonna put that all up here. And then we're gonna go ahead with this warm color. I'm going to come out here and put it in. Now, I want you to just trust the process and just trust that it's gonna come out, okay? So you're just gonna add these colors and you're gonna use the colors right next to it to blend. I'm gonna come into the orange a bit, kind of that medium yellow. And go into the orange just ever so slightly. So that was when I said orange the first time, I actually meant it was the yellow that was slightly orange. Now I'm actually going into the orange. And don't forget to do the tops. I'm gonna go ahead and take this red and we're gonna go ahead and put in what's going to be, ooh, apologies. We're gonna go ahead and put in what is going to be the kind of the clouds underneath. Just kind of figure out where that's gonna be. I'm just gonna do it kind of the best that we can. Remember, it doesn't have to be exact or perfect or anything like that. If things on this side have dried, that's totally okay. You can go back into the colors that you're mixing into. And I'm going to remind everyone that this is just the first coat. This is kind of like our, well, let's try it and see what happens coat. Let's play with the colors and see how the colors are turning out. Okay, I'm gonna rinse out my brush. I'm gonna take this orange and my yellow and put it right here. Oh, what is going on with my screen? Hold on, let me fix my camera real quick. What is happening? Give me a second to figure this out. That is silly. I'm just gonna fix this section right here while it's still wet, and I'm going to see what's going on here. my camera's doing that. Well, it's never done that before. And here. Oh, there it is. So it's like a lack of... Whoa, okay. So too much saturation. How interesting. Okay. That's so weird. I've never experienced that before. Maybe because there's not enough light? Ah! Now my face is like so bright. I don't care about my face. I care about the painting. So if the painting has black on it, that's weird. Okay, that's default and that's weird. Okay, hold on. Let me fix this. Ah! Okay. That is very close to what I have. And let's see. Okay. That's good. Okay. My apologies for that interruption. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We will go ahead and now that this is so bright, I'm just gonna turn this a little bit from my face. Okay. So let's go ahead and keep moving on. I'm gonna get some brown. Let's see. We'll get some black out actually. So remember, that's just kind of the first coat. You can figure out if that's if those are the colors you want, if those colors work for you. You can always adjust them a little bit in the next, like the next time you put a coat on. If you wanted to, you can go ahead and put in your sun. All right. So when I come back with some like another coat, I'll probably put a darker coat when it comes to like right next to the sun to kind of make the sun stand out a little bit. You see that? So I'll know I'll need to come a little bit closer with my colors. I'm gonna go ahead and get out my black just a little bit, and we're going to I'm gonna grab my my texture brush. I'm gonna get some black here, maybe a little bit of brown in there too, just so it's not super duper black. And we're just gonna kind of do a first coat of this. And it can be a little bit on the translucent side, that's okay. Again, we're kind of just putting in our first coat and figuring out where everything's gonna be. If it's not completely solid, that's okay. Don't really worry about the horizon line, the treetops right now. We can make that kind of more pronounced on the second coat. Okay, I'm going to take my big brush and I'm going to take this light reddish pink color. I'm going to add just a little bit of white to it. And I'm going to go ahead and go over my whole ocean or ocean, lake, kind of whatever this is. I kind of picture it more as a lake, I think. We're just going to fill in this whole area. Don't forget to do the sides. And then we're also going to do this side. And you'll notice I'm kind of leaving this area blank a little bit, because we're going to add a little bit more yellowish to that area. Don't forget the sides. And then I'm also going to do the bottom with this color. And for that middle section, I'm going to take this this yellow I'm going to put that in the middle section. And if you want, you can also take just that yellow straight down. And then just with the tip of your brush, go out, back and forth. And that will be a very good undercoat for our blue color that'll come just right on top of that. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and do a second coat of this top section, but we are going to go ahead and get out a flat brush. I didn't mention this in the beginning because it's not typically a brush that I use in every class, but because we're doing more of just a little bit of a quicker and looser version of this painting, and not like super duper realistic, maybe a little bit more of an impressionistic style, we're gonna go ahead and grab our, I love doing it with a more flat brush, but I'm going to go ahead and let all of you finish up that bottom section, and while you guys are finishing up all of that, I want to go ahead and go over the last class that we did over here on YouTube, as well as 2 other classes that we've finished in my Patreon. So if you like animals, like doing clouds, or would like to join for this bird class, we did this one last session on my YouTube, so you can go ahead and paint that. Again, this is a free class that you can go and paint with. Feel free to just go do it, have fun. If you're watching this premiere as it will come out on the 25th, then you can, it should be just be the last one that we painted on there, and you can go ahead and do that. Oh, it came back. Did it come back? Ah! Oh, how odd. It's like going away now. What is happening? Okay, we're just gonna ignore it for now. It's still barely there. Okay, we'll fix it. And then in Patreon, so that was a free class, but in my Patreon we have a lot of fun, and we end up doing some fun classes. In my magenta class, I do a Friday tutorial every month, and it's an exclusive class just for my patrons in Patreon. And we did this really cool, really impressionistic kind of still life. And I love how it came out. Really fun colors, and really fun, fun colors, fun subject, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, and then lastly, and I just finished this last night, and we had to do a 5-session class because there's just so much detail in it. But if you like animals or big cats, look at how beautiful this one came out. We spent probably 6 to 7 hours on this one over the course of 4 to 5 weeks, and it was so much fun. It's always so relaxing. I love doing fur. It's one of my favorite things to do because I feel like putting in the time and effort for it always makes it come out so cool. So yeah, we did this. We finished this in the Cobalt class. The Cobalt classes are $20 for a month, and depending on when you join up, you'll get access to this month's class as well as next month's class, and yeah, you'll also get access to everything else in that tier. So make sure that you have a look around while you're in there. And again, anybody who signs up for any of my Patreon tiers, so not the free tier, any of my paid tiers, you'll get automatically entered into that giveaway that will be happening next week. Okay, let's go ahead and do a second coat on this on this background, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my lightest colors first. So I'm gonna go in with my white and put in this sun in just my pure white. All right, so there's that. It's really bright. Maybe I'll just turn it down a little bit. See if that helps. Does that help a bit? Maybe it's just too bright. I don't know. I'm having troubles today with the lighting. But it looks better to me. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take this lighter color and I'm gonna be pretty loose. And just kind of put it on there. And we're gonna get this other color, so my yellow, kind of my orange color, we're just going to pull it into that area so there's a little bit of a contrast. I'm gonna go ahead and put in these darker colors. And again, I'm kind of intentionally making this rough. And if you've never done a painting like this where you kind of just like paint and then kind of just see how it comes out, I encourage you just to do it. Have fun with it. I'm gonna go ahead and put just some plain yellow right here in front. Kind of pull it out a little bit. And then go into that dark red that's right here. And go into this brown, maybe a little bit of black. I think I need a little bit of black with my red. It'll kind of darken that up a little bit, just ever so slightly. Put that over here next to the trees too. All right, looking good. When you first start doing a painting where things are a little bit more rough and things aren't, maybe you're used to making things really like really blended, And so making things like this is really, really hard. I've found that it's just best to keep moving. So you'll see that all of my, oh, it's doing it again. Why is it doing it again? What did I do last time to fix it? Alright, I think that's probably as close as I'm gonna get it without having all that black fuzzy stuff. Sorry guys, I don't know what else to do, but that's okay. Alright, where was I? No idea, but that's okay. We're gonna keep going. I want a little bit of a warmer tone. There we go. Okay. I can deal with that. Okay, now that my paints are all dry, it's fine. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and keep adding on the different colors that I have around here. I still have to add some orange to the top. Okay, so you'll see at this point we're just kind of adding texture. I'm gonna add a little bit of white to my yellow so we can add some clouds off here. And then we're also going to add a little bit of clouds up here. You can use a cloud brush if you have one of those. If not, then you can just put it in with the same brush. I'm just adding little bits of lightness. I'm gonna go into this bottom area with some red. gonna put red on the bottom here. And then I'm gonna go up to the orange and put another coat of just orange all over this area. And now that the majority of this painting is textured, it becomes a lot easier to not be worried about whether or not something is blending in or anything. Sometimes you can spend just so much time on just trying to get something to blend well. Alright, so this looks a little bit too brown over here, so I'm just going to come over here with a little bit more orange. And of course, don't forget the sides of your canvas and match them with the front. All right, and now we're gonna go ahead and put in another layer of our black. And with the edge of my brush, I'm just going to make the edges kind of push out, and kind of makes it blurry. So I'm just kind of taking my brush and wiggling it. All right. And right here, right underneath, oops, right underneath where the sun is, you're gonna take some red or orange, just something, just a bright color, and you're gonna go ahead and fill in that area. And you'll have to do this in a couple layers if you're doing it directly over the black. I'm gonna go ahead and put in some yellow right here. And just blend that out a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and create our blue. So I'm going to do blue, and then I'm going to get out a little bit of green. And I'm going to go ahead and mix together this green and blue along with the tiniest bit of black and white. I need a lot more white than I thought I would. All right, let me go ahead and put in just a little bit at this line and see how it comes out. So yeah, I'm gonna need it to be a lot lighter. So I'm actually gonna take all of this blue and put it off to the side so I can just add white directly to this little section. Okay, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna go ahead and put this blue on. I think I need a little bit of a lighter tone. I'm gonna go ahead and put in where the where the rest of these things are. So I'm going ahead and putting on the blue. That's like the main, wave. And then just using a little bit of water, you can blend it down ever so slightly. And now I'm going to go ahead and with my brush, I'm going to go ahead and just using the flat side of it, so my brush is completely flat across the canvas. I'm creating some fun textures, just using the dry brush of my brush and my canvas. And now I'm going to go in with just my blue. And you can put in all of these lines. We're just going to go ahead and just go for it. Just make sure that for the most part they are straight and in line with the rest of the painting. Like, you're not going to have a completely diagonal wave. All of the waves are going in the same direction. And some waves are long, some waves are short, some are thick, some are thin. Try to have a good variation. And if you step back from your canvas, that'll give you a good idea of maybe where you need some more. You'll see that all of a sudden your water is starting to appear. It might not look like it up front, up close, but if you step back you'll start seeing, oh my goodness, all of a sudden there is waves and it is there. I'll grab some water. Once you get to the top area, I'm going to not really go into the yellow section to the reflection as much, because that's going to be just lighter and lighter, and there's not going to be as much darkness, and that's what this is. The waves are that darkness, and just by adding a little bit of dry brushing, you can darken up any parts of this. And with this dry brushing, again, I'm just using a flat brush. I'm going to go ahead and get some more green out. Just going to take a little bit of this blue. I'm just going to tint ever so slightly the undersides of this blue water. Then I'm going to go into this darker water, darker blue. So I am using this darker blue inside the sections of, essentially I'm going to call them solid blue. I'm using it on the very, very top of it to create contrast. And then in the little bit of that shade, because that's what that is, the little tiny hill, essentially, of the wave is causing an ever so slight shadow on the water, which is why it's not pink. Because because it has no reflection on it. So you're just going to do the same thing. But inside the wave. And then for the yellow parts of this, where the wave is, you're going to use that dark reddish color. And I'll show you what I mean. So I have this reddish color that I'm going to use up here. And then I'm just going to brush a little bit around this section. And this color does kind of trail out a little bit, so you can go ahead and just pull it out as well. It's almost like adding a wash. And then on this one, you're going to get little pieces of your orange. And do the same thing you did with the blue, but with the light orange and the red in here. Alright, so I'm just continuing to add all these waves. The further it gets back, the smaller and more there are. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this white yellow. Put it in the middle here. I'm going to go ahead and do that a little bit in this one too. Not as much here, but it is reflecting a lot in the second one too. And it's reflecting a lot in the one that's closer down here. I'm just putting my lines here. Can get some yellow. There's not a whole lot of blue here in this section. So I'm gonna go back in with this like reddish color instead of the blue. And then we're gonna go ahead and add some light yellow to this section. All right. And that's going to be it for the background. Any other things that you want to add, you can go ahead and do right now. Just going to go ahead and add a little bit of light here and there. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get our black, and we're gonna go ahead and add all of our little grass. Okay. Don't forget the bottom and the tops. All right. some more water. Okay, so you're gonna get out either a liner brush or anything else that you feel would work well for thin lines. That could even be a flat brush. It really all depends on your skill level and what you would prefer. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my black. I think all my black is gone. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some space on my palette real fast. So I'm just gonna get a bigger brush and put some water on this area. And I'm just going to scooch this all on over. This is like one of my favorite things about this palette is not only the amount of space I have, but how it's just so easy to make space for new colors. So nice. Okay, I'm gonna grab just some plain black, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out a liner brush, and I'm gonna get some water, and I'm going to mix this water with this paint so that it transfers onto my canvas really easy. If you don't have enough water in your mixture, it's going to be really hard to get clean straight lines. And not that they even need to be straight, it's more of that they just like being consistent is helpful. And you can do a couple over on the side to see how your consistency is. And the trick is so that it goes on easily, but it's not translucent. If you have too much water, then it's going to be translucent, and you don't want that. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and have some fun here. And we're just going to go ahead and put a couple of these going off the page. And I'm gonna focus on a couple of the ones that really matter. So like there's one right in this area, which I think is really, really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull down from that area. And if you have a steady hand, you can go over and make it thicker if you need to. And if you ever make anything too thick, you can always come in with like a flat brush. Just make sure that it's clean. And you can kind of take away anything that you maybe don't want. And whenever you're going through this kind of area, there's gonna be a couple spots where like maybe you can't fully see it. Just because of the because of the reflection is just so bright. And some of them have little, they have little, like some are a little bit crooked. And I'm not doing any of the little frills right now, not yet at least. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a couple in here with my flat brush that are there. They tend to be a little bit more see-through, but that's because they're also a little bit, maybe a little bit like out of focus. We're just kind of putting in a couple that are just a little out of focus. And this just gives a lot of like busyness to it that this type of painting needs. Remember that a lot of times these are going to cross over each other. So right now I'm just making a lot of lines. I'm not really worrying about where they're ending or which directions. I am trying to make sure that they go in all different types of directions. A lot of a painting like this is really just adding busyness, so that when you do put in the little bit of detail that you do put in, it stands out more. So now we're going to go in with that detail. So you have a couple in here that have a little tops. I'm gonna go here. Don't forget there's a couple short and stubby ones in here. Alright, so now I'm going to get out a brush that I like to use for kind of furry things. And you can use whatever brush you want for this. If you feel like you would do better with if you feel like you would do better with a smaller brush or a bigger brush, by all means use whatever you are comfortable with. I'm kind of going back and forth between a bigger brush and a liner brush. All of these will tend to go a certain direction because of the wind, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it looks like maybe they're going like forward or another direction. All right, now we're going to add a bunch of leaves. And all I have to do is pick a stem and then go out in that direction with the same thickness. Make sure that it's quite random. Sometimes they can be right next to each other, other times they don't have to be. All right. And that is the end of our class. If you want, you can go ahead and add some on the bottom and just kind of continue all the ones that you already put in. But if that's too hard, you can always just paint the bottom completely black, and that would also be fine too. Totally up to you. This is what mine looks like currently. Kind of just depends on your style and how you want to finish your painting. All the ones that I can see, I go ahead and continue on, and then for the rest of them, I just kind of add the rest over here. Just like that. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate all you tuning in. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I hope you did too. Oh, I forgot one more. Hold on. Hold that thought. There's one right here, and I didn't put it in because it's actually done by just putting in some yellow and whitish. So we're going to get this yellow, and we're actually just going to paint the outer edge of it. Maybe I'll get a little bit of this. This actually goes all the way up here, now that I think about it. All right. So I'm going to put in a little bit of it here just so that I can see, and then I'm going to come in with some white and yellow, and then we'll be done. If you want to put anything else on, there's a couple others that you can put maybe some blue or something on. But again, that's totally up to you and how much detail you want to put on here. Like if I did this, and you could put different like highlights on things. Like this. That way they kind of stand out a little bit. Not so much standing out over here. All right. All right, so now that that's dry, the one that we did over there, I'm going to come in with some yellowish white, mostly white, tiny bit of yellow. Maybe a little bit more yellow. I'm going to go ahead and go all the way around it. All right. There we go. And I think that is going to actually be the end of our class now that I have all of this. All right. All right, now we're done. I couldn't forget that one. That was like part of the main piece. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for what's coming up next. If you are not on my Facebook page, make sure to go over there and subscribe and follow me on Facebook, because that is where I will post all of my coming up classes. And so yeah, I think that's gonna be posted tomorrow. So yeah, let me know if you would like to paint anything specific over there. But yeah, if you are not on Facebook, on my community, also make sure to go over there. That's where you can share this painting with me. But yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Same time, same place. We'll see you then. Bye guys.